Alrighty, everyone, here we go. We are on our way to Iowa. My car is driving itself, so no worries here. But thought I would catch everybody up on an update while the two little kiddos sleep. So let me get you set up. Get my over the bridge. Anyway, let me get you set up here so I can actually chat to everybody. Okay. So, we are good to go. Anyway, so I just wanted to hop on here as we do a little chat. So we're going to Iowa. We will get there. We should get there a little bit after 7. And this is kind of a big deal. It is a big deal for us. We have not been back to Iowa since we moved away in September of 2023. And the reason it's such a big deal, I shouldn't say a big deal, but it's emotion. So I'm trying to keep my emotions in check because timeline, my late husband, so for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, check out my other videos that talk. There are some stories, some history about what I have been through as a domestic abuse survivor. My husband passed away from chronic alcoholism and multiple 5 relapses since 2020, since Hannah was 3 months old. So lots going on, restraining orders, etc., filed for divorce, etc. So anyway, lots to unpack. So definitely check out my other videos. What I wanted to mention with this one is I'm going back to a place where Nate and I met. We're going to the church, our church home where Nate and I were married, where he proposed, and where the children were dedicated. So with that being said, it's very emotional. I'm not really too sure how my emotions, I've been trying not to cry, and it's not out of sadness, it's more of, I don't know, it's mixed emotions. I'm actually going to see my therapist as well, which is really good. But yeah, I don't know, I just really can't explain it because we had to. So he relapsed in July of 2023, and then he was found guilty for domestic abuse. But then about a couple weeks after he relapsed, my manager called an emergency meeting and told me that I needed to relocate or I would not have a job. So at the time I was hired virtually, and with that being said, there was not an actual corporate office in Iowa. So I had to relocate or I would lose my job. It would be a voluntary resignation. And so I found this out a couple of weeks after Nate relapsed. It was so traumatizing because the abuse case that was still open, there were warrants out for his arrest. I had filed for divorce. I had full custody of the kids because of the order of protection, but I was going for, in the divorce, I was going for full custody because, as you will see, if you go and look at my other videos, you will see examples of what hotel rooms look like days after he relapsed. So it would be unsafe. I'm not the type of person that's going to rip kids from somebody. 100% would never do that. But the big thing was it would not have been safe for the kids to be there, for him to have part custody. So I was going for full custody of the children, etc. And then to pick up and have to move was just something I had no idea what that meant. So I did talk to after I talked to my manager, I did talk to my attorney, and she said Iowa judges will look unfavorably on this. This will be very difficult for you to get full custody of the children if you end up moving. And I explained to her, I really don't have an option. At that time, the biggest, so a couple of different large corporations out there. One of them, it was John Deere, but they had just done a massive layoff, so they were not hiring. And the other one, it's not Alcoa anymore, but the former Alcoa. But again, they were not, and their union, there just was not anything available for me, because I had to make, this is the other thing, I had to make a decision quickly, and then I had to prepare to move within 6 months. And obviously everybody knows what the job market is like now. I'm in technology, and just with the job market the way that it is, and all, I would not have found another job, bottom line. I went ahead, I said I would move. I did look for other jobs again, and I had a recruiter as well. I had have a background in accounting, but I'm not a CPA. But I did look for any type of jobs, and I did not find anything. So what I ended up doing was I talked to my attorney, and I even asked my manager at the time. I said, listen, I will move. I will go wherever you want me to go, but I need to stay in Iowa until this divorce is final so I can get full custody of the children. And I said, can I stay virtual temporarily or report into, they have some facilities there as well that are they're hubs. They're not corporate offices, so they're distribution centers. I said, can I set up at a distribution center? He said no. He said, no, we cannot get an exception. You have to move. So I talked to my attorney again and let her know, and she said, think about it this way. She said, let's think about it unconventionally. She said, how about you not tell anyone really that you're moving? Drop the divorce. And I have all sorts of information on this, by the way, if anybody's curious and want more details. But anyway, she said, drop the divorce, move, wait 6 months to get residency in your new state, and then file for divorce there. Reason being, by federal law, the children and I would have gotten residency in the new state within 6 months. And that is a federal law. And then file for divorce in that state, and then Nate would have to go to that state for all of the hearings. And then we would fall under the state laws for divorce. She said you can keep it open here, but then you're going to have to keep coming back and forth for any type of court date. She said it's very unconventional, but because you have the restraining order that actually has both children within the restraining order protecting them, meaning you have full custody of them, you can take them and do whatever you want. She said, but I will tell you, if you leave the divorce open and you continue to file for divorce in Iowa, the judges will look at it unfavorably because you left with the children, even though you didn't have a choice. So I went with her advice. She said, if you're going to do that, don't tell people you're moving. So, this is a very long story to get to. The reason why it's so emotional for Iowa, I'm getting there, for us going back to Iowa. But the big part of it is that the children and I, within 4 weeks, so I told my manager I will move. I told him where I would move. And I said, get me out there now. Because my attorney said that as well. You need to get out there now so that you get your 6 months starts immediately. Because they're also, my order of protection was only valid for a year. I needed to make sure that I started my 6 months right away. So within 4 weeks, we were in Tennessee, and I told the head pastor, and I told a couple of other pastors and my very dear close friends and other people I did not tell. So I didn't even tell his family, Nate's family, because I knew they would tell him. And so I did tell his stepdad, because I knew his stepdad would be able to keep that a secret. So within 4 weeks, we were in Tennessee, and we left, and we did not say goodbye to everybody. And we literally just picked up and left. And honestly, even at the time that we left, we were not attending that church anymore, because Nate started attending that church, and I was concerned. There were issues of harassment there, and so I was concerned that he would just show up and try to get the kids. Granted, there's security there. I was covered under the order of protection, but I just really was not comfortable taking that risk. So we stopped going to that church, and people never really knew what happened. We stopped going. He relapsed. I think within a couple weeks, we stopped going to that church, and then all of a sudden, then we go and we move. So we haven't seen anybody. We will get there, and I guarantee you people are going to ask, what happened? What happened? Where do you live? And granted, a lot of the church knows us, and so I'm sure people have mentioned that we did have to move. Total side note, I'm also, 80, 90 pounds lighter than what I was, so I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions regarding that. And the kids are bigger, and so it's just going to be good emotional. So it's going to be happy tears of joy, spending time with our church family. We were at church all of the time. So we would go there, and like Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, we were just there all the time. And so it will be very good to be back. I'm sure a lot of people will have a lot of questions, because I also have not seen people since Nate's passing, and we did not go back. His services were held at that church as well, and we did not go. That was the advice of my therapist, was to not go. Reason being is it would be very emotional, because it was Nate passing, and there would be a lot of questions because people hadn't seen us, and then also the children wouldn't understand. So they understand that their dad passed away, but they wouldn't understand that their daddy was in a box because he was cremated. And so she just said it's at their age, they're not going to understand. And so she just recommended we do a celebration at the house, which we did, and we wrote letters and attached them to balloons and did prayers and let them go there. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be an experience, a very good experience. And I'm so excited because I get to see my dear friends that I have not seen. Like my closest friend. I mean, I had to just pick up and leave. We get to see our friends, and we get to see our church family, and we get to see my dad and Papa Paul. And sorry, my car is making noises. We get to see all these things, all these people, and these things meaning we get to see church, and we get to go to my dad. We're staying with my dad because I dropped the ball and did not get an Airbnb soon enough. And I am going to while I'm there, I'm going to do a little video on searching for Airbnb/VRBO, or Verbo. It's called Verbo. I always called it VRBO, but it's Verbo. But I am going to do a video on that, because in the area that we're going to, which is the Quad Cities, there are not good places to Airbnbs at all. Very few and far between. And so there are 3 that we have been to and used, but they were booked. And actually, I need to take that back. One of them wasn't booked. It was available, but the only issue is it's right up on the Mississippi River, and that river is very dangerous. You can get, with the current, you can get taken away with the current. I was just a little nervous with the kids. We stayed there before, and the kids were so young that we had the patio cornered off to where they couldn't get off the patio, but now they're old enough to where they could actually go down there. So anyway, yeah, so I'm definitely going to do a little video on that and do a search with me for an Airbnb, and then share everybody the places that really worked for us. I don't know anybody who's going to go to the Quad Cities. I don't know why you would go there, but if you are going, or if you need tips and tricks for Airbnb, I am going to do a video on that. So stay tuned. And then another video I promised I would get up is how I actually create my videos. I did promise that I would get that up as well. So anyway, going back to our little road trip here to Iowa, we are driving. It is about an 8-hour drive from Tennessee to the Quad Cities. And like I said, the kiddos are sleeping, which is really good because I can just keep going forward unless I have to get gas, and unless there's a ton of traffic, which we did have a little bit of traffic, but other than that, yeah, I haven't encountered anything recently. So worst case scenario, if we decide, we'll go ahead and we'll stop and stay the night at a hotel and then just get into the Quad Cities the next morning. But very exciting. I think we're going to do some time at the pool, and like I mentioned, we're definitely going to be going to church on Sunday. We'll probably be there most of the day because I can't wait to see everybody. Really can't wait to see everybody. And then I know Papa Greg wants to take us shopping. He loves taking us shopping. And then we will, I think I mentioned we'll go to the pool. I'm having mom brain right now. Definitely hit the gym. I'm so excited because I'm off work, and I thought, oh, this is so perfect. Ooh, look at this. Traffic, 15 minutes. There's a lane closure. I don't see the traffic ahead of us, but we'll see how this goes. Anyway, but I'm excited because I'm going to be able to go to the gym and get some workouts in and just take a breather. It'll be really nice. Work has been good. It's been a lot. Hi, Princess. I don't know if she's waking up or going back to sleep. Let's see, going back to sleep. Good news. Anyway, and then my dad is, where he lives is on the Mississippi as well. It's beautiful. Now I will say his house is set really far back from the river, so if anybody goes out and you have to climb down. So anyway, I'm not too concerned with that. And then he has a park that's right there as well, meaning it's like a nature walk that we get to do. Very excited about that. We'll probably go visit John Deere, go look at the tractors, and I don't know, Hannah. Hi, Hannah. I know, you're just waking up, right? Anyway, we'll see what else we're going to... I'll take everybody along the ride with us to see what else we're going to do, because I don't really know. Yeah, very excited. Lots of time at friends' houses. She's tired. So, anyway, hopefully I brought everything and didn't miss out on anything. Side note, totally should have packed last night. I had everything separated, but what I did is I packed everything in the bags today, but I obviously overpacked, so I had to put some stuff aside. I always feel like I overpack. One of the things that just is so interesting, because I pack up as if there's not a washer and dryer there. There's a washer and dryer there, so we can always wash stuff. Sorry, I have eye allergies. My eyes are watering. I think she went back to sleep. So anyway, so yeah, it's supposed to be cooler there, which will be nice. I packed some of my sweaters. So this is the other thing. I was so excited. I thought, oh, it's going to be, because it's supposed to be pretty nice in Nashville. And so I thought it's going to be really nice. I'll get some sandals, some cute dresses. Nope. So I packed some boots and then closed-toed shoes. Obviously, I do have my sandals just in case there's a day where I can wear something. I don't think there will be. I just have them in the car in case. And then, yeah. Fun times. So, anyway, any ideas on what to do in the QC, Quad Cities area, Iowa/Illinois, let me know. I live there, so I feel like I'm pretty aware of anything fun to do, which I don't know if there was, other than going to the park and the pool at the Y and church. That's pretty much all we did. Yeah, anyway, alrighty. We'll chat soon.